You know what I'm gonna miss the most? I'm really gonna miss it. I'm gonna miss when I'm at a game and everybody at MSG is screaming, Zook! And then you get to look at all those people who don't know what's going on. Looks so perplexing. Why is everybody yelling boo? What? I thought that was good. Are they saying boo? What? I'm really gonna miss that. I'm really gonna miss that. What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Glove Drop. I promised you that I would have a week wrap-up before the game tonight against the Dallas Stars, and I keep my promises. So let's jump right in right now. Here we go. God, that thing smells so bad. Rangers take on the New Jersey Devils at home, and they come up in a 5-2 win. Amazing game. Tons of energy. The Rangers outshot them 35-21, and it all started off in the first period where they outshot them 15-4. Being a native Long Islander, I just love seeing New Jersey lose. It's just like, you like to feel like you're better than Jersey, even though I could see Jersey from my house. Anyway, first period, 15 shots to 4, 3 goals up. We got Jimmy Vesey coming out, starting the whole thing. Then the second coming off Ryan Strome, and the third and final goal of the first period right off Chris Kreider. They go into the first intermission up 3, and the momentum didn't really last through the second period. The second period was absolutely just a stalemate. 9 shots on goal for each side, no goals scored, thanks in part to Georgiev. I'm going to put a little poll to see how you guys pronounce it, because Sam Rosen says it one way, and then NHL Network says it another way. Whatever. All I know is he has been seeing a ton of ice time, a lot more ice time than normally expected for a backup goalie, and I am pretty impressed with what he has to offer so far, and he should be offering a little bit of hope for the future, because at some point we are going to have to take into consideration Rangers post the Henrik Lundqvist era. Third period, the Devils finally find a way to come back and get a point up on the board. The first goal coming off of Kenny Agostino. But the Rangers quickly struck back, and this time it was Brady Shea. Brady Shea, one of the players that I'm going to be talking about a little bit more. If you check out www.theglovedrop.com, I got into every single game, much more detail. And when it comes down to Brady Shea, I think that people had expected a lot more out of him this season. He has not made much of an impact really at all. Kind of was really quiet all season, but this weekend he would finally step up, and some of those roles that are now open after the trades are going to need to be filled, and from his performance this weekend, it looks like that he might be going in that direction, thank goodness. Brady Shea gets a goal in the third period, and that would be the first of 3 goals for the weekend. He came into this back-to-back schedule with only 3 goals, and he would come out having doubled that, thank goodness. Brady Shea. You can't have a crazy wild last name like that and expect people to figure out how to pronounce it unless you are going to do something that makes them see you. So, kicking off probably the best weekend of play that he's shown all season, the Devils did find a way to get one more point up on the board. Andy Green rocked one past Georgiev. But for the second time today, Ryan Strome was able to come back and hit it. Second goal of the day, Rangers win 5-2. That celebration would not last that long, though, unfortunately. So, as many of you noticed, during that game, 3 players were missing, 2 of whom were some of the top performers the entire season long, and were some of the most loved players on the team by the whole fan base. You've got scratched Matt Zuccarello, Kevin Hayes, and Adam McQuaid. Zook has spent all 9 of his NHL career years with the Rangers and was an alternate captain at the time. Kevin Hayes, big man in the center. He has been with the Rangers for 5 years, which is also his duration of his career. Both of them, as well as newly acquired defensemen earlier on in the season, Adam McQuaid, were healthy scratches, and that brought a lot of confirmation to the rumors of them possibly being traded. And like I said, the celebration of the win would not last that long because that afternoon, the trades finally started taking place. The first to go, Matt Zuccarello. A few hours later, it was released that he would be traded to the Dallas Stars, and in return, we were going to get a second and third line draft pick. Now, the Matt Zuccarello trade to the Stars, huge hit, caused a lot of emotions for the team. I know everybody saw, and if you didn't see it, it is in my Instagram. Henrik Lundqvist being overcome with emotion, seeing one of his best buds on the team, and somebody who, as far as just the Rangers organization as a whole, was an all-around awesome contributor, both on and off the ice. So the Dallas Stars saw that, and they have been struggling this year. 2 of their top players, which I found pretty entertaining, were just ripped apart publicly by their general manager or by the team organization. Literally just saying, you guys are garbage. You're making so much money and you haven't done anything to show that you are worth that amount of money, and somebody needs to figure this out. Their second line, with the addition of Zuccarello, would have made it, and I say have, because this isn't going to happen anymore for them, I'm sorry. But yeah, Zuccarello, one of the best passers in the NHL, really knows how to get plays moving, gets the plays starting. Everybody's talking about Zibanejad and his goals this year. Zuccarello was an integral part of all of those plays, which would result in a goal. And for the Dallas Stars, he would have brought a ton of energy and offensive play to their second line. Now, when I say would have, only 36 hours into Zuccarello being on the Dallas Stars, they are on the ice in Chicago against the Blackhawks. He has a great first period. 1 goal, 1 assist first period, but very shortly into the second period, everybody's favorite Zook steps up, tries to block a shot, takes a puck off of the stick of Connor Murphy, and is removed from the game, does not show back up. Then it was finally found out that he did suffer a broken arm, which then required him to have surgery Tuesday morning once they got back to Dallas, and he is out indefinitely for 4 weeks. And as much as it sucks to see him go, and it's some people who, you know, are really, really, really hyped up about the whole thing, are like, ha, in your face, Dallas, in your face, Tyler Seguin, you guys don't get anything out of this trade deal. But of course, Zuccarello has been such a great member of Rangers organization, and we wish him when I say we, I mean me and my Panda Cup, because this is who I speak to, because I can't just talk to the computer, but me, my Panda Cup, and I'm sure a ton of people from the New York Rangers organization and players and coaches, fans, wish him a speedy recovery and all of the best of luck in the rest of his career. Second, I'm going to take a sip. Second trade-off, which would happen on Monday, 3 p.m. being the trade deadline Monday, really just pushing into the final hours before the deadline. We saw Kevin Hayes, the center. He was the next to go. He was sent up to Winnipeg, who are currently, I think they have clinched their playoff position. They are a great team. They're really showing a ton of potential as the playoffs come to start up. So Kevin Hayes was traded out there, and we got in return a first-round draft pick, Brendan Lemieux, and a conditional Brendan. No, we got 1 Brendan Lemieux and a conditional draft pick. He joins Blake Wheeler, one of the former Rangers up in Winnipeg. And of course, also a bit of a sting for Rangers fans. Hayes was in the middle of his 5th season as a Ranger, and again, spent his whole time here as a Ranger. Was always just really loved by the fan base, and even though he was from Boston, diehard Boston, and maybe we didn't love him that much when he was talking about how much he loves the Patriots, he had definitely become a New Yorker, and he had made it pretty clear that he did not want to leave. You gotta think leaving New York City to go to Manitoba, which, if you're from South Dakota or Manitoba, I apologize for saying this. It's kind of like the South Dakota of Canada, middle of nowhere Canada. But again, he was in the middle of what was his best season as a Ranger. He came out of nowhere, definitely a long way from his 2nd season. The 2nd season was brutal to watch. Healthy scratch a few times, but he figured out how to do what he needed to do, lost a bunch of weight, got himself in shape, and this season he has been playing some of the most intense and smart hockey that we have seen from him. He's gotten a ton of plays in motion, 3rd highest on the list of goal scorers for the season, and he's a big boy, 6'5" center. He knew how to get around with that, and we were starting to see that he was definitely one of the better centers in the league. And it's going to be a big role that needs to be filled, that center position, and hopefully we will find a way to get these players that we have kept really motivated and just competing to fill those spots. So again, of course, we wish the best to Kevin Hayes, and both Hayes and Zook are going to be free agents this summer. Zuccarello is going to be 32, I believe. Hayes will be, I think he's 26 years old, so he is younger, and I do think that once they do become free agents, there have been rumors that the Rangers are looking to bring them back. I think they should focus on getting Hayes back because he was definitely a great playmaker, and he is younger, so there are a few more, in the team, all young guys. And, he'll have a few more years left before he might start getting old and slowing down. But who knows? Anyway, the player that we should care about now, and yes, best of luck to you guys. We'll see you when you see you. Brendan Lemieux, 22 years old. Last season, he spent bopping back and forth between the Winnipeg Jets as well as the Manitoba Moose, which is their AHL affiliate. This season, he was on the roster for the opening, for the start. And I know that everybody that I've spoken to just about his play thus far, before he got on the ice as a Ranger, they're like, oh, well, he only had 9 goals all season. 9 goals in 44 games. Why are we getting this guy? It's not really gonna... And I'm like, no. For the sake of sounding like a total nerd, which I am, you have to look at ice time. Lemieux had very little ice time. So yeah, he may have played in 44 games, but that doesn't mean that he played 15, 20, 25 minutes, 30 minutes, whatever, in these 44 games. He had very minimum ice time and still was able to get 9 goals. So after I took a peek at that, I had a good feeling about it. And then especially after seeing his play in his first game, I believe Wednesday was his first game against Tampa Bay. I think that this kid is going to be one awesome addition to the team. He's got a ton of energy, comes out, plays very intensely, is very aggressive in his play. You would think that that should be the case considering who his father is. And if you don't know, I'm going to tell you. I almost just started rapping. If you don't know, now you will know. So now you know. Claude Lemieux, second most hated player in the NHL all-time ever. Only behind Sean Avery, who, if he wasn't a Ranger, I would have hated his guts too. Claude Lemieux was also a 4-time Stanley Cup champion, had 80 goals in the playoff season. He holds the record. I think he's like 9th on the list for most goals in the playoffs. Really great agitator, knew how to get into the other team's head. Unfortunately infamous for literally rearranging somebody's face and making him have to have his meals through a straw. But that same style of play, that same attitude, and that same veracity that his father showed, I have no doubt in my mind that Brendan Lemieux will be able to take some of that, and hopefully he will not get to the point where he's just not able to calm it down and then just misses ice time. We want to keep him playing that hard, playing that aggressively, and really just the mind part of the game, getting into the other team's head. But we want to keep him on the ice. So hopefully he will not be fouling out, getting kicked out, being carried out by the hair. Because I know you all saw his hair when he took his helmet off. And that's a lot of hair. Good for him. All right. So to wrap up the trade news, Adam McQuaid was also traded. McQuaid was a defenseman. We got him earlier on in the season. He is now with Columbus Blue Jackets. That is where he started. That is who drafted him first. McQuaid, a little older. Unfortunately, he has always been, throughout his entire 10-year career, I believe it's 10 years. Ow, my foot's asleep. Speaking of plagued by injuries, oh my God. Plagued by injury, illness, and just freak accidents. He missed duration of a season because he tripped over his suitcase, had a concussion. But while he was with the Rangers, it did follow him here. And throughout his time this past season, he has been injured quite a few times, missed a bunch of games. And in return for McQuaid, we got 2 draft picks, 4th and 7th round, I believe. So in the same spirit of being friendly hockey fans, we wish him the best of luck. And we are definitely going to really have our eyes on what goes down during the draft. Hopefully we will be able to score some good guys. And, maybe we can just manage to rebuild. And I promise you guys, I won't say rebuild that much. I hate that saying. I really just, I don't want to rebuild. I want Jack Hughes, okay? So, Jack Hughes, we're coming for you. And on that note, let's get back into the rest of the games. Every other game this season was an L. We had the great win, but a couple of overtime losses. Lost in an original 6 matchup, and then the losses over the weekend. However, the play was great. We even had David Quinn say, if this is the way that we are going to be, and I kind of quote, I don't have it written in front of me, but Quinn made it very clear that if this is the way that the Rangers are going to continue to play, and if this is the way that they are going to handle a top-ranked team, in reference to the game Wednesday night against Tampa, then he thinks that they are headed in the right direction, and I think that they are headed in the right direction too, and I will follow them as I have followed them for the last 24 years, 8 months, and 20 days. So, dive right back in to the games. Sunday, the Rangers took on the Capitals in Washington, Sunday, February 24th. And this game would be pushed into overtime. Brady Skjei, as I said before, this guy came out, rocked off 2 more goals, doubles his goals for the season, really put on a promising performance, if you will. Unfortunately, the Rangers did fall in overtime to the Caps. Then next up, we've got Wednesday night against Tampa Bay, a second overtime loss. They looked great during play, though. I will say it. I don't care if they took the L. They took on Tampa Bay, who is so far ahead, it's almost not even like they're in the same league. Like, there needs to be a higher league. They make it look so easy. They have made it look so easy all season. And if you look at the leaders, the top leaders, they're holding 3 out of 4. In power play percentage, goals scored, Kucherov, and their goalie is a building. He is a brick wall. Kucherov is just, it's like he can't not score. He just doesn't know how not to score. But they played a wonderful, high energy, high aggression, really, really, really pushed it, and they definitely made Tampa Bay put up a fight. They did lose in overtime. That night was also Lemieux's first game, and honestly, it seemed like he took 6 scoops of pre-workout when you're only supposed to take a half a scoop. It seems like he took 6, and then somebody tied him down for 2 hours and made him just go nuts. Like, you know when you see bulls in like PBR or whatever, and they're in the cage and they're just ready to go. They are fired up. That was Lemieux, and he had tons of ice time, and the energy just did not trail off. And he only had 1 penalty. So there you go. Next, we're going to jump right in. Friday night, an Original Six matchup. They were back home to take on Carey Price and the Habs. Now, when I was looking into this game, I was going over, the last game, last meetup, the whole deal. It's been a while. It was in November, and we had seen Neil Pionk put off one of the most ridiculous goals I have seen, not just all season, but sometimes I don't even know that he's there. I'm like, do they know he's here? Does the coach know that he's playing? Like, because he's not, no? Okay, sure. He just goes end to end, takes it down the whole ice, puts it past Carey Price in a way that even he was still spinning. His head was spinning. He had no idea. It was absolutely mint. Got him nominated for an NHL top goal. I don't think he won, but you know what? I loved it. And Carey Price definitely did not love it. And unfortunately, Neil Pionk was not there. He was there, but he wasn't there. He did not do anything close to that in this game. And the Rangers did lose for the 3rd time this week. This loss was not in overtime. It was 3-2. They did play great. Again, you still are seeing, which is very promising. I got to come up with a better word than promising. But you did see some of those guys, VC, Shea. They are still playing with that same level that they had been over the weekend. And those roles that have been left, I really think have been drilled into these guys' heads, and now they know what they have to do. It's just a matter of consistency, making sure that they are always playing at that level, and making sure that they are taking the steps that they need to so that they can become the team leaders and take these young guys and get them to a point where nobody's looking around for who's in charge. Nobody's looking around for guidance from somebody else. It really needs to be just very fluid play. Up until this point, nobody has shown that kind of play, but it does seem like that's the direction that they're going in. So, VC, Shea, I know you're very upset about the loss of your BFF, NHL's favorite bromance, the New York Rangers' favorite bromance. They 3 were in love, okay? They were in love, and now Hayes is gone. So the Shea, VC, Hayes love fest broke up. I'm sure that they were sad, but I'm glad that they're using it as motivation to work harder. Hazy, come back. Yeah. So then, another loss. This time, we saw another new face on the ice. We called up Hayjack defenseman Libor Hayjack from our AHL affiliate, the Wolfpack. Yes, there you go. Hartford Wolfpack. Now, again, before these games, because there's always a pregame and a postgame write-up. I go way more into detail. Everything is in there. Percentages, goalies, this, that, the other thing. I'm looking up this guy, and I'm like, oh, okay. 22-year-old guy. Let's see how he looked. Let's see how his season was on the Wolfpack. Oh, okay. He played in all 58 games. Oh, okay. He's got the lowest rating on the team. Wow. I had to scroll all the way down, and I was like, where's this guy's name? I know it's a weird name. I don't see. Oh, because he's last. He's got the lowest rating on the team. Let's call him up. And then we call him up. 18 games left. He didn't seem that out of place, though, which was shocking. I thought that he was just going to be skating around having no idea who he was, where he was. Like, Mom, can you come get, I don't want to do this anymore. He seemed to keep it together. And I love Coach Quinn's approach in this. So there are only 18 games left in this season. Coach Quinn is looking towards next season. And in what I think is a really smart move, and I have liked a lot of the moves that Quinn has made all season, he gets this kid up here so that he can get some experience. He can become familiar with the organization, become familiar with playing at that level, with those kinds of crowds, especially at MSG, because it is just wild, loud, can be very distracting. He wants to get this kid up here and get his feet wet. That way, when training camp starts for next season, he won't have to spend as much time adjusting. He will already have kind of a feel for what's been going on, and there will be a lot more opportunity to focus on play, to focus on getting prepared for the next season, rather than spending time and energy just adjusting to what's going on and adjusting to the new team. So that was a great call on Brian Quinn's part. If you disagree with me, you obviously don't plan for the future. Although, if I do agree with you that I still like lowest rating on the team. Oh, and by the way, the AHL affiliate, the Wolfpack, they're about as good as the Senators this year. And the Senators could probably just destroy them. They're not doing great. But thank goodness we have all of those other draft picks. Thank God. So then let me wrap this up. We then have our last game of the week, Sunday versus the Capitals, also at MSG. And once again, we get an overtime loss. Now, if you watched this game, you know what I just got really jazzed up about. I have no idea, never in my entire life of playing hockey, watching hockey, just hockey all over. I have never seen a shootout end like that. Ever. I have never seen a goalie let go of the stick, which, okay, it happens. I might be biased. I didn't think that it looked intentional. It just kind of looked like he got dropped it or whatever. He's taking on Ovechkin. 4th round of the shootout. Georgiev taking on Ovi, who is a scary man. He seems like he could make me cry just by wishing it from Washington. And I don't cry over anything. But I did cry when he lifted the Stanley Cup. Anyway, coming in, 4th round, goes in, and Georgiev lets go of the stick. The stick hits the puck. Ovi didn't even get the puck off of his stick. And then a couple of minutes here and there, they call it as a block at first, but then, all of the officials calling up Toronto, figuring out what's going on. And in my head, I'm like, okay, if he does get this reversed, there's no way that they can call it as a goal, because they don't know if Georgiev would have stopped it even if he didn't let go of the stick. So I'm like, they'll just do a redo. I was mentally prepared for the redo. I look up, I look down, I look back up again. They gave it to him. And I was like, I felt like one of those people at Madison Square Garden that was looking around saying, why are they saying boo? So that was the week wrap up. Like I said, if you want full details, there already is, because all of this already happened, up at www.theglovedrop.com. You can follow my Instagram at theglovedrop.com, Twitter at theglovedrop. I always put .com at the end, at theglovedrop. There's no .com at the end of the Instagram or the Twitter. If you like what you've seen so far, please hit subscribe. If you have any other Rangers fans who want to hear me talk, please hit subscribe and send it to them. If you don't like what you've heard, please hit subscribe, and I will be back tomorrow with a new video. I will be talking about tonight's game against Dallas. The Rangers are off to Texas tonight. Take on Jamie Benn, take on Tyler Seguin, wave hi to Zuccarello, who will be chilling on the side. And in the meantime, let's go Rangers.